Okay, all right. I am back with another one. I am your host, Neo, and welcome to the Committed Relationships and Spiritual Activity Show. I appreciate you listening, and for those new listeners, I am what is called a personal development consultant and relationship consultant, and also a relationship anatomist. A relationship anatomist is I study, examine, and investigate, and I break down the information and analyze the information of relationships. And I have been doing that for many years now, for a minimum of 8 or longer years of studying and examining relationships. And I have examined anywhere from couples to my own family, and I also utilize the TV shows and movies as my source material of studying relationships, because there is a lot of information there that a lot of people actually don't know. And I have learned a lot about relationships. So I've come to a point a few years ago, maybe last year or two, where I figured that it's now time to actually share the information that I have learned. And now I do so with my Committed Relationships and Spiritual Activity YouTube channel here. And so what I want to talk about now, and what I've learned throughout the years, is choosing associates wisely. And your associates are your individuals that you decide to associate yourself with on a consistent basis, one way or another, and including your friends. And your associates can also include your family. And now, one thing I've learned throughout my years of studying relationships and actually analyzing friendships, I've learned that most people fail to actually analyze an individual to see if that individual is actually beneficial for them to enter a relationship with. Instead, what societies teach is, let's say for an example, two individuals, they get together, they meet, they have a good time with each other, they laugh, and then they want to hang out with each other, and then eventually they consider themselves friends. Or one will say that they want to be friends with the other, and they'll just end up calling the other one friends, but they never actually come to an actual agreement together to enter a friendship. I've noticed that friendships, a lot of them with people, they start unconsciously. It's like they just jump into a friendship. And I mentioned this in my Committed Relationships ebook about how a lot of friendships start. And that's one of the things that I mentioned in the book. And I mentioned also that most people, they actually fail to sit down and analyze, like, wait a minute, is this person even of benefit to me within a relationship with them, and what do they have available to bring to the friendship? And this includes just association in general. This includes your family members, because you also have to analyze your family members. And this is if you want to have successful, meaningful relationships with positive people. But if you're an individual who you just want to be around people, which that's how a lot of people are, they just want to have somebody around because they still have loneliness within themselves, and they have insecurities and unresolved issues. Those type of individuals, they absolutely skip analyzing people to see if they're even worth their time and energy. So they'll just accept people into their lives. And then these type of individuals, a lot of them, they go through a lot of stress with other people in relationships with them, due to them actually failing to do the analyzing and to even sit down and do self-reflection to really realize what type of people they want in their lives and who they want to be. So it's like they don't develop a strong, anchored mind so that they won't just follow anything and go with anything and anyone. I've seen this up close and personal throughout my investigation of relationships, that there are actually people who don't have much of a mind, and they are highly a follower, and they'll just follow anybody who comes across as some sort of leader, and regardless of what garbage that the other person says and or does, the follower will just be like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. They won't stop and think like, wait a minute, hold on, does that even make sense? And then there's some people of the followers, they won't even speak up against something that they know that they don't want to do, or they know that they need to speak up and say something. They'll just hold it in. And this is why I absolutely encourage and stress personal development so much, because there's so much that people go throughout their childhood that they need to recover from, and they need to evolve their own mind so that they can have successful, meaningful relationships with other people, and those other people actually are attracted to them because of their attractive personality, that where they have something personality wise to bring to a relationship, those intangibles. And personal development actually allows a person to obtain the intangibles of relationships. Intangibles like intelligence, maturity, wisdom, accountability, responsibility. All of those types of things are the bottom foundation within relationships, and need to be a bottom foundation within a mature individual. However, you see a lot of people, they don't understand what personal development is, and they don't want to get any kind of psychological recovery. So they rather just accept their mental issues and then point the finger at everybody else and say, and just sit in their self-denial, which involves the ego, as I said in one of my previous videos. They just sit and accept their issues, but they don't want to resolve them. So if an individual does not resolve their psychological issues, then those issues are going to just sabotage their relationships with other people, and then the other people are not going to want to be in relationships with them. So it's like, just think about it. If you know of an individual who just consistently sabotages your relationship when things are going well, why the hell would you want to be in a relationship with them if you consistently see that they fuck up all of the time? Unless you, for some way, somehow, there's some kind of deep love, there's something that's keeping you there. But if you're smart and you know where you want to be within your life and how you want to keep your energy and your overall brand. This is one thing that I learned recently, is that as an individual, all individuals, we are a brand, just like the companies. You know how there's companies who want to be in association with another company, a bigger company. The bigger company will examine the other company that's asking for association with the bigger company, and they'll really investigate to see if that other smaller company, or that the company 2 that wants to join company 1, to see if company 2 is worthy. So they'll do due diligence to see what's going on with company 2 before they actually join forces with them. So after me actually examining that, I sat down and thought about, you know what? That actually makes sense for people to do that for themselves. Know what type of brand they are and learn how to protect their brand, and don't just associate themselves with just anybody. Just being happy-go-lucky and trying to be all is love with everybody, because you can't be all is love with everybody, because there's zombies out there that are highly irresponsible, and they'll put you in situations that are fucked up situations due to their negligence. And then if you do one little thing that makes them upset, that triggers their insecurities, they'll blame you for all of their issues that they fucked up on, and then later on they won't even say that they're sorry, and they don't even realize what they did, and they don't think that an apology is necessary. So it's like these individuals, you can only go so far with them, and you should limit your exposure to these type of individuals because they have not grown psychologically yet. And psychological growth is way more important than material possessions. And that's one thing that societies, well, here in America in particular, they fail, and they don't want to actually encourage. They the American society here, they actually encourage materialism over psychological development. So it's like you have a lot of people who are caught up in materialism, but at the same time, psychologically, they're zombies. There's like little to no substance in their mind, and you can kind of tell by the way that they speak when you're in conversation with them. So it's like that's why you have to really pay attention to the type of people you bring into your life and accept to even help. Because when you help them not certain people that have not did their personal development work to resolve their psychological issues, there's going to be a lot of negligence within themselves that's going to cause you a lot of stress. So you got to think about that. And then on top of that, there's people's auric fields that are dirty. And when a person has a dirty auric field, they attract negative, dirty things to them. So if you associate with these aurically dirty people, you're going to be around a lot of the things that they attract to them. So that's another thing people have to consider, but very few people actually know what the auric field is and how to cleanse it and keep it cleansed and manage it, really manage it. So there's a lot to consider when choosing associates, friends, and family associates. So I'm happy that I have learned all of this and really analyzed it for myself and thought about this stuff so that I can choose my associates wisely. And for me, the majority of the time, I just choose to be by myself because I see that there's a lot of zombies around here, psychological zombies around here in America, and very few people actually want to improve themselves psychologically, evolve themselves. So it's like with me wanting to consistently evolve myself, and I focus so much on my own psychological development, I want to be around other individuals who are of the same, so that we can have successful and meaningful relationships, rather than just those mundane relationships where we're just sitting around watching TV, playing video games, and just bullshitting, wasting time. Which I like doing those things, but there's a time and a place for those things. And as an adult, there's a time and a place where we need to actually focus on learning, increasing, and actually focusing on learning. I bet a lot of people don't know this. When you actually focus more on learning, you actually decrease aging. You can check this out. This is real science dealing with the brain. Once the brain sees that the individual is no longer learning, it realizes like, hey, okay, you know what? We might as well close down the factory because this person is not focusing their mind on evolving. So we might as well close up shop. And that's where a lot of people, they get old and sick early. When you actually focus your mind on learning, your brain is constantly making new adjustments to the new information. So it has a reason to pump those youth hormones in the brain so that you can stay young. So it helps out a lot. I see the difference. And also taking care of your body, of course, but learning helps out in a variety of ways. So that's enough speaking. I said my word that I wanted to say. If you want to contact me, you can contact me at committedrelationships@gmail.com. That's one word, committedrelationships@gmail.com. Of course, it'll be in the description if it's not in the video. You can also check out my website at relationships.blog.wordpress.com. That'll be in the description too. And comment, like, subscribe, and share this video if you're interested in it. Give me some sort of feedback, even if you just say, nice video, thank you very much for sharing, something like that. I truly enjoy the feedback because I'm seeking to spread the information that I have learned, because it's not good to hold information that we have amassed. So it's good to actually share it. Thank you very much.